Hi, Vladimir Michalenko is with you, and today we will ask the five-star dentist Frank Dunlap of Houston, Texas, how he became a dentist, what does he think about dentistry, how the youngsters or immigrants can become a dentist, and how is it possible to make a decent living being a dentist today. Frank, I'm very glad to see you today, and I want to ask you, one of the most famous coaches in sales now, named Jordan Belfort, maybe you know the Wolf of Wall Street. 30 years ago, before he became a broker on Wall Street, he dreamed about a career of dentist. And when he came to dentist school, on the first class, a person who introduced them the profession said that the golden age of the dentistry passed away. And you cannot make so great money as you could make 40, 50 years ago. Do you agree with this statement, or maybe a great dentist always can find the ways to make a decent living?
It's an interesting question. Making a living and being able to support yourself, I think, is important. I think more importantly, enjoying what you do and being passionate about what you're doing. And that the passion would help drive you maybe into a proper career, and that the income will take care of itself. So I have heard a number of statements made about the golden age of dentistry. I have heard people say that the golden age is today. I've heard different groups say it is in the past. That's I think, a bit of a gamble to maybe choose a profession based upon earnings. That it's more important to choose a profession based upon your passion and your skill set. And I think ultimately, for me, I think the earnings, the income will take care of itself. Certainly dentistry brings a number of challenges today, that challenges that could and do impact earnings, but nonetheless, I think that dentistry does provide still, as a career, a golden opportunity to be involved with work that involves your hands, involves your mind and your eyes, creativity, and one fact that is often overlooked: there are really people attached to teeth still.
Okay, can you tell us, as is today, how the people who think about medical career or career of a dentist, how they can enter to profession? What do they need to do?
The entry into a medical profession, and again, that's interesting. If you say medical to encompass healthcare,
Yes.
to include different aspects of nursing, different aspects of medicine as an MD, or to then also include, as part of the health, the different aspects of dentistry, which could include hygiene. I think almost all of them, well, all of them do have to take a course of study that includes some of requirements in a number of the different sciences. Those are requirements for application. So I think the vast majority of people who are going to enter into a healthcare career are going to come out of a biology or chemistry background.
How long does it take to become a dentist today? For example, if a person just graduated from a high school or recently moved from other country, he has high school education, maybe he has MA, but or bachelor degree in science. How long it will take for them to become a dentist today?
I think one answer is I really don't know.
Okay.
Because the requirements have possibly changed. This is my 38th year in
38
practice,
years.
and I don't think the requirements have changed much. So by and large, if one wanted to go to dental school, they would have to have an undergraduate degree. There may be, when I was applying, you had to have a minimum of 3 years of college. Almost everybody had an undergraduate degree, and then it would be normally 4 years, and then 4 years for dental school. And at that point, some would choose to maybe do a 1-year residency in maybe a couple different aspects of dentistry, and then there are specialties within dentistry that are going to be anywhere from 2 to 6 years.
So it can take 6 years to become a dentist. If a person graduated from high school,
I would say 8.
8 years. But anyway, it's quicker than to become a neurosurgeon. Or
Well, it's to become an MD
Yes.
is going to be 8 years also.
also.
But almost all graduates of medical school are going to do at least, I believe, 2 years additional training, even like a family practice residency.
Your profession is connected not only with the knowledge, yes, but with hands, like a surgeon. What are requirements, any special requirements to the hands, to the crafty hands of dentists?
There are depth perception, hand-eye coordination. Again, there are some of the requirements to go to dental school. When I applied, we had to take a dental aptitude exam, and that exam covered reading comprehension. It covered chemistry, mostly organic and biochemistry and biology. It also had when I took that exam, we had 2 components that were part of, you had an overall score that was broken down into two components. One was more the didactic, the classroom kind of material that you were being tested on. The other score was all the eyes and the mind, and they would ask you to look at this diagram, and then it would be a stack of blocks, and then they would ask you to rotate it one time and then choose what that would look like from 5 options, so that you were being tested for that hand-eye depth perception, the ability to visualize objects from a different angle.
Is it possible to get a scholarship to graduate from medical school, or people need to pay?
Some, you see this more in medical school, where most people, if you don't have money to pay, there are various forms of student loans, which would be the same, I think, for college. But there are some instances where I believe there could be an opportunity. It's hard, it's competitive, where possibly you could join the military early in your education, and if they would pay for it, then commensurate with how they pay for it, then you would have an obligation to serve. But it's a huge advantage to be able to finish school without having the debt. There are some instances where smaller communities have had trouble attracting a doctor, and they would raise the funds as a community and pay a portion or a large portion of someone's education, and with that then comes the commitment they're going to come to that community.
So there are ways to enter to a profession for the people who do not have funds enough to pay. And can you tell us, if you graduated, you passed residency, and you need to get a license now as a dentist to open your own practice?
Correct.
What is the best way to work for somebody in the beginning, a few years, or it is possible to open your own practice after you graduated from medical school?
I think I think one of the things that has changed, and at this point, it's not just a healthcare profession that I would be answering to, but I think in so many regards, somewhat unfortunately, the cost of education has risen so much that student loans begin to dictate maybe some limitations on options. So the options are pretty unlimited if one doesn't have a burden of significant debt. It then becomes, so if the question is, can one open their practice? Well,
Yes.
they could. The immediate question is, how do you pay for that? Because the cost of opening a dental office is exceedingly high.
How much approximately?
Oh,
In average, just not to start, if for minimal.
you could easily spend $500,000 easily to open a dental practice. And so then the question is, who would be out there to help you do that? I am thankful that I'm not coming out of school right now because it's the technology that is available is not all of it is necessary, but some of it is very good, and it doesn't seem like technology is lowering the cost of doing business. It actually maybe raises the cost.
And a person needs to hire somebody, nurses, or he can work alone in the beginning.
It would be very difficult to do
Very
it by
difficult.
yourself. I think it requires a lot of discipline and prudence. Unfortunately, some people are more business oriented than others, but it's not a skill set that a lot of us have coming out of school. But I think it's conceivable that if somebody came out of school, that they could open a practice, be prudent with their planning, and open it. You're going to have at least one person help you, and I think it would be quite obvious to the patients who would be coming into that practice that this is a young dentist, and they would not expect them to have a full staff. And there's nothing wrong with being honest that they're in their first year, second year, and grow as their patient base expands.
Is it possible to take a loan from bank to open a dentistry?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think what I'm hearing from younger dentists is that the bank is first going to look at their situation, so that the most troubling situation for a bank is for a dentist to finish school and have substantial student loan debt. And many times then the bank's in a position where they're looking for excuses not to get involved. And it's not unusual that that a recently graduated dentist would possibly work as an associate or with a clinic in the first couple years to kind of, as they say, get their feet on the ground, to kind of look at the community and see what opportunities exist, where if they wanted to be on their own, what area of town, what type of building would they like to be in.
If the person was an associate with the clinic for a couple of years, so 10 years passed since he entered to medical school, and now he is ready to open his dentistry, and he somehow find $500,000, and he opens. When these investments can be returned back, when he will, how much can he earn in a year, and how much it will take to maintain his dentistry?
I don't know how long the bank. A lot of times, I think the repayment may be on a 6, 7, 8 year
Mhm.
note. And
Mhm.
so the